He's earned his chance to fight for that belt. Now imagine that Khamzat is here in the United States preparing for that fight with Imavov. That would be my guess if I am thinking about what's next. But the reality is, one, how difficult is it going to be for him to get back down to 185? Because I'm telling you, he looks massive next to Roundtree. Two, how will he compete when he's back down there? And three, how does Imavov deal with the size of Khamzat Chimaev at this point? Because while Imavov was a 185 pounder, Khamzat was at 170. Chimaev looks like the bigger guy. He looks like the much bigger fighter. Now, I'm telling you, you guys have to watch that training footage. He looks like a monster at over 200 pounds. Khamzat Chimaev also has the Chael Strickland issue to deal with at 185. These guys cannot stand each other. Look, guys, when you are two athletes of the highest caliber and you have trained together and you have fought in sparring, one of those guys knows, or someone knows exactly what happened. But as most say, what happens in the gym stays in the gym.
We've seen Khamzat Chimaev fight at welterweight. We see him fight at middleweight. Is he someone that if he says, hey, I want to fight at light heavyweight, we'd see him fight at light?
I'd like to see him defend his title at a weight first. Yeah, I'd like to see him defend his title before he talks about jumping around from, you know, you're going to keep going up in weight divisions without defending. Yeah. I'd rather.
So after Chael Strickland made his feelings crystal clear about wanting this massive showdown, Khamzat Chimaev has done what he does best. He's gone completely silent and gotten straight back to business. Training footage keeps popping up, showing him putting in serious work at the gym. And honestly, it's only making everyone more convinced that this white-hot main event is actually going to happen. What's really telling is how quiet he's been through all this. No trash talk, no social media wars. Just pure preparation like this fight is already locked in stone. The man is building his weapons in silence.
I mean, he works his ass off. The guy can fight. He's a world champion, you know, but just because you can fight and just because, like, it doesn't really mean, like, doesn't make you like a man, you know? And there's these moments when, like, you see kind of like past, hey, I could fight. He works his ass off, like Costa. It just, yeah, I don't know.
But here's the thing, looks like training hard isn't the only way Khamzat plans to answer Sean's constant callouts. In what can only be described as setting social media on fire, he went directly at Strickland, telling him to hold tight and stay patient while he sorts out his visa situation. Once all that bureaucratic mess gets handled, then they can settle everything properly where it should be settled. Right there in the Octagon where fights like this deserve to be decided. That's both a guarantee and a warning wrapped up together. And man, that definitely got under Sean's skin.
He's been saying some stuff in interviews about, he just didn't like your approach. Just why do you think he's saying that, and do you have a response?
I don't know, when I was there they never said anything, you know. When I leave the Vegas and when I stop my visa, he start to talk. When I come back, I'm in LA, bro. Come on. If it's something personal for you, just come. I'm here.
Now here's where things get really interesting. The legendary Chael Sonnen, someone whose opinion actually carries weight, came out and said with zero hesitation that Khamzat Chimaev's next fight has to be against Chael Strickland. According to him, there's absolutely no debate needed here. Sonnen even admitted he spent an entire day really thinking this through, making sure he wasn't playing favorites or pushing any agenda. He also talked about how other fighters act differently when Boar's in the room, noting that the guy just has this intimidating aura that's impossible to ignore. And this is where it gets really spicy. Chael brought up Sean's own comments about their past sparring sessions. Strickland has been telling people that back in the gym, he was always the one looking for the hardest work and setting the pace. Meanwhile, according to Sean, Khamzat would sometimes take the easier rounds, which has definitely added more fuel to this already burning rivalry.
Khamzat Chimaev must fight Sean Strickland next. Guys, there's no debate. And I had 24 hours to think about this. Because here's what I don't want to do. I got to tell you, as an authority figure in this sport, I don't want to pan Imanov. I don't want to do that. I respect him. I respect what he's done. I respect his patience. But Sean Strickland fought him in head-to-head competition. Now, a couple of things came out. I am behind the scenes, and I can tell you, guys tiptoe around Chimaev. Guys are scared of Chimaev. He has a presence. Sean Strickland said, man, I used to be in the gym with this guy. He's a punk. Ask the people that were there. Sean Strickland said, when I come into a gym, I go find the biggest, baddest dude, and that's who I spar with. When Chimaev comes in the gym, he finds the easiest opponent, takes him in the corner, and beats the hell out of him.
Bisping kept breaking down the situation, talking about Sean and other potential challengers in the middleweight division like the dangerous Nazardane Imavov. Bisping definitely acknowledged that Imavov is a serious threat, quick and extremely skilled, but he made sure to highlight one key fact. Sean Strickland already beat him. Then he asked the question that really gets to the core of everything. Who has earned it more? He reminded everyone that Sean isn't just on a hot winning streak. He's also a former champion, which brings serious experience and credibility. In the end, Bisping kept coming back to the same truth. Khamzat has to fight one of the elite middleweights, and more importantly, the fight with Sean is exactly what fans are demanding, especially with all the real tension building between these two.
You're disrespecting everything that Fluffy Hernandez did. Fluffy Hernandez beat 9 men in a row. If Fluffy Hernandez beat Sean Strickland, that would be 10 in a row. 10 is the biggest number in the history of the UFC that anybody's had to do to get a title shot, and that distinction belongs to Merab. But to remind you, Merab was offered a title fight after 7. So the point that I'm making, if Fluffy Hernandez would have won and he would have gotten a title, we're being very disrespectful to the 9 men that Fluffy beat. We're being very disrespectful to the opportunity that Fluffy should have had. And when you play this game, it's the ultimate poker hand. You're all in. Whatever you got is on the line. You got a belt, it's on the line. It doesn't matter if you're undefeated and this guy's lost 5 fights. It doesn't matter if you're ranked number 1 and he's ranked number 8. When you get in there, it's all on the line, winner take all. Sean Strickland took it. Sean Strickland.
When the talk shifted from who deserves what to what would actually happen in the fight itself, Whittaker stuck to his main point with total confidence. He gave Sean credit, saying his takedown defense is legitimately solid and something he uses well. But here's the huge difference. Grappling with Khamzat Chimaev is a completely different animal from anything Sean has probably faced before. Whittaker knows this from personal experience. He's actually been in there with Khamzat and knows exactly what it feels like to deal with that relentless pressure firsthand. He also made sure to mention what Khamzat did to completely control his opponents, making it crystal clear that the intensity and skill level of Khamzat's ground game is just not comparable to anything Sean Strickland has dealt with so far in his career.
Just a second now, I do want to say, I was with Khamzat last week on the Jackson podcast, and Khamzat Chimaev told me that he is 240 pounds, right? What do you weigh right now, Khamzat? What do you weigh? Come on.
You can keep it a secret if you want.
I don't know.
That is gigantic. That is a good weight for a heavyweight, let alone a middleweight that fights at 185 pounds, 84 kilos. That would be a 55-pound weight cut that he has to go through. And by the way, he didn't look fat. He looked to be in really good shape, and he's down there in Newport Beach, California, training, running on the beach every single day. The man is working out hard, but there's no talks of a title fight. In fact, I asked him, who will you be fighting? And he said, brother, I don't know. I will see.
James Lynch, another well-respected voice in the MMA world, has been saying from day one that the next middleweight fight everyone needs to see should definitely be Khamzat versus Sean Strickland. He pointed to Sean's incredible knockout win over Anthony Hernandez, saying that particular performance completely shifted everything and changed how people view Strickland. Sean made his statement loud and clear with that dominant main event win, putting himself right back at the top of the food chain. Plus, a huge factor Lynch emphasized is that Khamzat doesn't have any fights booked right now. Lynch made it obvious that Sean, right after his big victory, immediately started calling out Khamzat, who, as the champion, has no clear opponent waiting. It's the perfect combination of timing and circumstances.
So there certainly is some words, and Chael Strickland has beaten him before, beaten via decision. The reality is, who deserves it more? I don't know. Sean's only on a 1-fight win streak, but he is a former champion. Imavov hasn't done that, right? The reality is, Chimaev has got to fight one of them. I know he's talking about going up to 205, or he's thinking about going up to 205, and making 185 from 240 pounds will be very hard, okay? But I would love to see him in there with Strickland, certainly when he says that he choked him out multiple times, and his lightweight training partner choked him out a bunch of times. And then you've got Strickland calling him a Chechen and all this type of stuff, right? Talking a lot of shit, talking a lot of smack, not afraid to poke the bear, shall we say, right? That fight's got to happen. I want to see it. You want to see it. The whole world would love to see it, right? So I think he's got to stay at 100.
Lynch also talked about the chance of Khamzat moving up to fight at 205 pounds in the light heavyweight division. He argued strongly that Khamzat just captured the middleweight title and hasn't even defended it once yet. Lynch's firm belief is that real champions have a responsibility to defend their belt first before they start thinking about chasing titles in other weight classes. He made it clear he wants to see Khamzat stay busy at 185 pounds. He then made this smart observation about how quickly fans and experts tear apart other champions for being inactive, and wondered why Khamzat shouldn't be held to those same high standards. After Lynch made his case, Brendan Schaub, another major voice, said straight up that the UFC needs to stop waiting and book that fight immediately. Schaub completely shot down the idea of Nasordi Namava of getting a title opportunity, pointing out that Sean already beat him, and even more important, Sean is clearly the bigger star, which matters huge in today's fight business. Schaub explained that the UFC absolutely depends on stars, especially American stars, and this fight is completely ready to happen. He said confidently that Sean would take the fight right now, especially since he came out of his last fight basically untouched and in perfect condition. Schaub even predicted that if Sean manages to beat Khamzat, the UFC would suddenly have a massive American superstar on their roster. This, Schaub kept emphasizing, is the bigger business angle that can't be ignored. He's convinced the UFC sees this huge opportunity and won't let it slip away by not booking such an important and profitable fight. From Schaub's view, it's easy to understand why Sean has targeted Khamzat as his next opponent. Sean just proved without any doubt that he's still one of the absolute best fighters on the planet, a legitimate top contender. Plus, he's definitely a draw, whether people love him or love to hate him. And Khamzat in this situation is the ideal high-profile opponent to really take advantage of all this building momentum and excitement. When you break it all down, this comes down to perfect timing and unstoppable momentum. Sean just delivered a powerful reminder to everyone about exactly who he is. He shut up his doubters, looked sharper and more dangerous than ever, and barely took any damage doing it. At the same time, Khamzat is sitting there as champion without any obvious next opponent lined up. The story for this battle is already perfectly written, the animosity is completely real, and the style matchup promises genuine fireworks. Sean's constant pressure and sharp striking against Khamzat's elite wrestling and physical strength creates a fascinating and meaningful test for both incredible fighters. From every angle, whether you're looking at pure competition or smart business, making this fight happen right now is the obvious move. If you wait around, all this heat and excitement will definitely fade away. If you book it next, it immediately feels like a truly massive event. And in this sport, when something feels genuinely huge, thrilling, and makes total sense, you don't second guess it. You make the fight happen, get the contract signed, and let these warriors handle their business in the cage. Both fighters are right in their prime years, and both absolutely believe they're the best in the world. There's no reason to make this incredible situation more complicated with additional matchups or pointless delays. What the fans really want is some clarity in this division, and this fight provides exactly that. It's going to answer legitimate questions that everyone has. Can Sean successfully defend against Khamzat's powerful takedowns? Can Khamzat match Sean's relentless pace for 5 full rounds? That's exactly why this fight matters so much. So let us know in the comments below, who do you think takes this epic battle?
Is he the contender, do you think, next for the title in your mind that could potentially have the most challenge to Khamzat out of the possible contenders right now?
Oh, it's hard to say. Like, I definitely think he has an argument now, especially because he's beaten Imavov and because of the way he put away Fluffy. But honestly, it's anybody's guess. You know, it's in the yeah, it's anybody's guess. The title fights and like contenders and that whole conversation is just so, mate, random.
I mean, I know you've been in there with Khamzat, man, and Sean Strickland's taking defense is pretty good, but we haven't seen him in there against. Like, would you say Fluffy and Khamzat, it's two different levels when it comes to the grappling? Would you say, like, in terms of the way, the strength, and yeah,
absolute night and day. Like, having been in there with Chimaev and seen, and everyone who saw what he did to Dricus, like, there's not, mate, like, it's not the same. It is not the same.
Khamzat Chimaev and Sean Strickland should be the next middleweight title shot in the division, and I'm going to tell you why in today's video. My name is James Lynch. So Sean Strickland getting a huge win last weekend at UFC Houston in the main event, taking out Anthony Fluffy Hernandez by knockout. It was a picture-perfect performance here from Strickland, getting the third-round finish, stopping Hernandez and his 8-fight win streak, and solidified himself as a contender in the weight class. And right now, at the time we're talking, there is not a fight booked yet for Khamzat Chimaev. There's been a couple rumors out there, but you heard Strickland after his fight with Fluffy Hernandez. We'll play a little snippet of it here. He talks about what he wants next when Michael Bisping asks him, and Strickland doesn't hesitate, talks about Chimaev. We're going to watch that clip here real quick.
Next, Sean. I don't know, man. Chimaev probably gets off the bench here. I like a piece of that little Chechen, but you never know with him, bro.
Yeah, so you can see there, he wants this fight. And then to go even further, Strickland at his media scrum before, of course, he was cut off, which I'm not a fan of, talks about how he made Chimaev quit in training. Now, I'm not usually a fan of fighters revealing things in the gym. I think that's bad practice, but this is only going to build